Why do we want to do it? Why are you getting so tired? Why do I want to do it? Why do I want to know? I want to know better. This thirst, that thirst, this thing. I want more. I want to know more. Help. Okay, I want to help. All right. It's not like, my son is young, he's getting sick, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I was kind of lazy for the last 10 years. I'm not sure. It's like I'm worried. I want to help. I want to be able to do it. That's why it's like, I want to know. I want to be able to do it. At the end, I need it. I call it the moment of truth. Like when the moment of truth comes, there's no time to learn. Then it needs to come out. So that's why we want to know. I really want to know. We have another part of the body that involves all the many different actions of taking energy from nature into my body for unification. Right? The first half was to reach to nature. The other half is to bring nature in so I can find it.
Queria dizer que está, então, relacionado mais com os sentidos, o fato, paladar, audição, aí fica mais ali no Shaoyan, manifestação. E aí a tosse, porque não está relacionada nem ao sentido.
Well, the truth is, it's a big topic. But what we say now, the symptoms, remember we're still talking about number one, the body. What's going on with the body? So this you just ask about coughing versus tinnitus. I'm saying in the body, these are the parts that are going outside. Other parts of the body is going inside. Food, water, air. That includes the lungs and this. The reason we have lungs is to take air in. It's not to reach out. Meaning also the stomach. The stomach does not reach out. It's an instrument to take in. The intestine is an instrument to take in. Right? These are all things goes in. At the end, together they all do one job. Including the eyes, the ears. They have impact on unification, on the heart. This will maybe talk on the heart. We talk about. It's all connected, but right now I'm differentiating the body. What comes in, what goes out. But your question is actually very good. I just said it relates to number 3. In other words, if we think about it carefully, I'm here just pointing it out, when you think about the eyes, and the nose breathing, smelling, and the ears, hearing sounds, it's outside. But its objective is coming inside. Right? You see, it's not like food. It goes straight into the heart. That's why I also said with acupuncture, skin is outside, muscle is outside. But you can go from the outside in, make these connections. So this question was very, very good. It's just we're not only talking about the body anymore. So I didn't mean to talk about this topic, but since you asked, I'll mention it in a few words in this seminar. Like the impact of the heart in this. We say the eyes impact directly the heart. And the ears impact right around the heart. And the smell goes outside to the intestine and the digestion. But they all go inside, but not through this path of eating and drinking. This stimulation, smell goes to the intestine, and the hearing starts to make things move, but not so much like seeing. You see things and the heart starts moving like this. So at a different level, this energy coming into the center.
Pode relacionar a audição ao pericárdio?
No, not the pericardium. But we say hearing is related to the lungs. Around. So to talk about herbs, I want to talk a few words before about unification, which we already talked about yesterday, just go in a little. Remember yesterday we said we take the heaven energy and we submerge it into the body and make the connection with energy from the outside, bring it together. But what we're talking about when we talk about unification now is not the body anymore. Right now it's the conversation about aging and life and death. It's not about if I have lungs or not, 1 lung or 2 lungs. It's not that conversation. It's like how much longer can I take energy and make it mine? In order to separate, you need to be able to unite. And this determines like how much I can do it, determines how many more circles I can go. Let's say each circle is a day, like how many more days I can go this way. This ability, as far as I can understand, and again I hear, sometimes we're going to very hidden areas. So each one has his best guess, and I give here my best guess. It's not like you see it, everyone gives their best guess. My best guess is that this ability comes to us at conception, depending on how strong the mother and the father are. In other words, if they're very weak or sick or stressed or there's war or this, the ability of the baby to live longer is becoming less. And when we think about it that way, this discussion of medicine in general, but specifically of fertility, is actually taking a very different angle. Like, what are we talking about when we talk about fertility? Are we talking about people getting pregnant, or are we talking about something else? And actually start talking about something else. In other words, if we contemplate it in the heart, and it makes sense to us, what I just said before, if the parents are really sick, the life of the baby, even though it might be a baby, but it's not as long as it could be. Like, if this thing makes sense in the heart, this is something we need to contemplate. That means that with the practitioner, the responsibility of curing or treating infertility, the objective is not to have babies popping out. That's not the ultimate objective. The ultimate objective is to get the parents strong, so when they make the baby, it's going to have as much as possible unification. Or if I would say it in simple English, and again, might sound a little weird, it's not who can make babies, but rather who can make good babies, if you can make this word good baby. Meaning babies that have long life, that's called a good, healthy baby. You know, when we talk about babies and creating new life, it's a very difficult subject. Because creating babies is very important for the parents, for the mother. And, but in my opinion, this is my opinion, as a doctor, a practitioner, if I was successful in having someone that is weak or sick, getting stronger, and because of that they have one healthy baby, is a superior result to producing 10 babies, but it's not, you know, not sick and not so good and maybe not live so long. Like, the number of babies is not what makes the success. Again, as I said, it's very difficult because every baby that comes out is precious. It's not like the baby is a problem. It's not the baby problem. But I think if we understand this topic and we are able to do this and get stronger, the parents, so they get pregnant on their own and the baby is strong, this is for me like winning the jackpot, you know, the big prize in the lotto. Being a little mean, it's a little mean in spirit. Because as I said, the babies are always precious. Also the sick babies, if they're sick, is precious. It's not like the baby is at fault. I'm pointing to the medicine that has a problem, not the baby. Let's talk about the unification here. Submerging the dragon and having more energy and the ability to keep it is different than the body's processes of taking energy, going out to energy. Remember, this is the vessel, and there's many, many different things happening. This unification comes at conception and determines how long I can go. It's this issue. And we call it in Hunyuan issue number 1 and issue number 2. Body is a supportive. Remember, it said Guijian. Body is supported, but this is the main thing. In other words, this ability to unify with energy for 100 years is something that we get from the parents when we conceive. After that, the body is developed, like yesterday we explained, and we need the body, we talked about it yesterday, the whole day. But there are two different things. So what we need to do, and this basically means how much ability do I have? Or in other words, how long can I live? Now this is, well, you can't see it. Like, nobody knows. How long is Alberto going to live? He's going to talk, translate so much, he's going to drop dead tomorrow. But, you know, like, you don't know. It's not that we're saying, you know, I'm God, I know how many years. But it talks about this issue that otherwise nobody talks about. In the 20th century, they say, don't talk about this, only body. In other words, when the father and mother have enough unification and they make an embryo together, this thing, as I said before, is alive right at the first second. Meaning, it recharges, separates and unifies. Recharges, separates and unifies. This means being alive. You take it, put it on the table, still alive. 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then it stops. So this thing that happened to the embryo here after 2 minutes, it's the same thing that happens to us after 100 years. But here we get the body developed, and then we come out of the womb, then we can eat, drink, you know, do all this stuff. Another day, but it's always this, 2 minutes. So we say every time we breathe, we get 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes, another day, another day. It's not like we live 100 years, you always get more, get more, get more. At the end it looks like you have so much time. There's not one person or animal, well maybe in the sea, but there are regular animals here in the air that you stop the connection and they live for a few months, like they have life. It's all, everybody has ability to take and make mind for 100 years worth. But without the energy from nature, you can't go on another cycle. But this 2 minutes, we have it without the air. Without any food, any water, any drink, we have this we got from the parents that can sustain us for a minimum amount of time. Without air, without anything. This is called the unification ability. This minimum that we got from the parents. The parents just give us, Chen Qing'an calls 1 drop of fire. But today, say 1 drop of fire, don't understand what it means. That's why we call it unification ability. But this thing, in Chinese Hunyuan medicine, is what we call the precious. The body working is very important. It makes us live for a long, long time. We call it the inferior or the supportive. It serves the life, makes this go on and on and on. But this is why we call this number one, like this issue. It's not which part of the body. This issue is called number one, the body is called number two. We have these two things we consider in the clinic, in the diagnosis. Now the way to diagnose this is it complicated or simple?
And the others look very confused, as you can see.
No, the truth is everything is simple. It's very deep and difficult, but simple. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3. We want this one thing, a simple thing, not the complicated. One gives birth to two gives birth to three, lots of that. So basically, when a patient comes to the clinic and I start to involve the diagnosis process, the first thing that we need to do is evaluate number one. What's the life like? Now, how much is the unification exactly? This is very different. Like when you know this is a level of Zhang Zhongjing. And I think, but the more we practice the heart, maybe it's easier to get better. But we don't need this. But the more we go there, maybe the more we can see things. But we don't have to. But the initial diagnosis is very simple, and you don't need any hard practice. It's very simple, the diagnosis. So I want to evaluate how is the recharging ability, how is the unification ability of the patient. So when we are born, we are 8-0. For normal people, it's not 10. This is like 80, 90, 100. This is a lifespan. So when a patient comes in and they say 10-year-old, they're 40-year-old, they're 90-year-old. We have this dial. We say this is a 10-year-old person, 50-year-old, 80-year-old person. That means an 80-year-old person naturally has much less unification ability left. You see, an old person is at the end, towards the end, 50, 40, 20. Analyze that. So this is like very simple. Like what's the age? Already on the phone. Someone called the phone, I'm 60 and I have back pain. On the phone, the age-wise, I know. And again, how their parents were, how strong were the parents, I don't know. It's like 60 years ago. I don't know what the parents were. So I don't know how long they're going to live. But what I'm looking for is not the age that they're going to live. So let's not call it 0 and 100, but rather we call it X and Y. I want to find out where are they in X compared to Y. The first question we said already is the age. More here or more there? That's the first thing. Again, as I said before, and I'm just saying it again, we don't know how much they got. But we do know that this is X and Y for everybody. There's a starting point, there's an ending point. That's 100%. Further, what I know, which we already talked about, is the body has a supportive action here. And if the body now is not moving on time, meaning I have symptoms, pains, aches, hot, cold, right, all the diseases, that means this is not good for unification. Because if it's proper, this is the way it should be. If it's not proper, fast, slow, anything here wrong, means this is now start suffering. And two things impacted the body, two different things. One is the severity of the problem, like how slow or how fast it is. And the other is also the duration. 1 day, 10 years, 50 years. Like the longer, the more impact there is. The stronger, the more impact there is. So just making an extreme example. Let's say there's a very serious car accident and the body breaks, completely stops. Then you have 1-2 minutes and it goes all the way to the end. And the person dies. In other words, and not extreme example, but all the pains and aches and problems that we have are extremely important to solve. Not because the patient wants not to have back pain, it's because this compromises their life. The more they have this, the more this go faster. This, I would expect you normally to say, so what's the difference? You just help them, the pain and aches, what does it matter? That story, right? What does it matter? Want to help them not have a headache, what does it matter? In other words, again, I'm asking the question. Let's say I have pains or aches, and I'm treating them in whatever, taking drugs, do surgery, make it better. Like, why do we even have to think about it? At the end, it's good. It's good not to have pain. So what does it matter if we think about it, don't think about it? Fix the pain, that's it.
O que tem diferença nisso?
Yeah, no, it's recharges, that's why we live and things, but it's there by default. Even if you don't think about it, it's there. So we said to fix the pains and ache, it's important, it helps this. So why even bother with this? Just fix the pains and the aches and it's going to help it. We don't need to talk about number 2, just fix the pain and it's fine.
Just to prevent?
Yeah, prevent too. But there's not something else, maybe, let's see if there's any other ideas before I come.
Alguém tem uma outra ideia? Hã?
Isso daí é o que determina, não é? Isso é determinante, vem na frente do corpo, não é? É isso que vai determinar como vai funcionar o corpo da pessoa, não? A resposta do corpo depende disso.
Because this will determine how the body functions?
Yeah, so being strong is good, but if I have pain, let's say I have pains here, right? It's slowed down and I have pain. So I separate it, and then there's less pain. Is it good or bad to have less pain? It's good, it's good. So what can go wrong? Saying, let's ignore this. I don't know anything about this. What can go wrong? I did feel better. What can go wrong? Right now, what's important to understand, and I'll give you the answer. It's important to understand that there is 1 and 2, which is Chinese medicine. This ability to connect to heaven and have recharging, all what we talked about, and the body that has a supporting role. It's important to understand this for the following. The body's action, everything, is to support this, to make this go along. When this is proper, this is the best that it can be. When this is not proper, over time, this starts to suffer. The objective of medicine and all, but Hunyuan medicine thinks like that, but I think all medicine should be like this, is to reach the zone, to reach a proper measure, to reach to the right place that's supposed to be. This is the objective of medicine. That's what we need to do. Everything that happens here is for this reason. It's not like the energy doesn't separate for the body to have energy. It separates so I can get to the apple and eat it and have more energy. It's this process. When this starts slowing down, the body or the heart starts feeling pains or aches. Just using this example with pain. This heart feels that it's not good, it's not going, I feel unhappy. This is called feeling pain. When we start speeding it up, the pain starts to be less and less and less until there's very little pain or no pain at all. This is called recovery. Less and less and less until it's on time. At this time, speeding it up more, like trying to help more, start to make this separate too fast, and the unification start to become less. What started to be something which is very good, at the end turned out to be something which is not good at all. This actually happens a lot. With acupuncture less, because it's difficult to exhaust the unification from the skin. But with doing herbs, with separation herbs, this happens all the time. Just for example, there are many examples, just one example. For example, women that have painful period, which means it's slowing down. Remember, the Juayin start to slow down, pain with the period. Then the practitioner will start using herbs. In modern language, it's called moving blood, moving qi. These are all separating herbs, increase the separation. And then what's going to happen here, is the symptom going to get better or worse? Like the pain in the period with these herbs, going to get better or worse? Going to get better. So then the practitioner and the patient, do you think is good treatment or bad treatment?
Short term.
No, it's very good. Feels much better. So what's the next move? Gonna do more.
Yeah.
More.
Então, fazer mais, né?
And what's gonna happen? And this is gonna get tired. This unification is gonna get weak.
Vai começar a enfraquecer a
Why?
respiração.
Because we don't have it. So it can't get weak because I don't know. understand what I just said? In other words, this is going to get weak, but I can't consider it if I don't know it. And this happens all the time. I see many, many patients coming from other places. I did this herbs, the period got much better, but 6 months later, I can't sleep so well, I can't other things. And here, I absolutely don't have a criticizing heart. It's not like I want to criticize, but I just want to, what do I want to do? What do they think I want to do? Here, in medicine, there's no friends and there's no favors. We need to find, is it like this or not like this? Is it helping or not? Right? My son, my wife, my mama. It's not like, well, no, we say, the economists say, I can't do nothing of this. Is it like this or not like this? Right now, so this was just an example, but if you want to try it, you can try it too. But this is how it works normally. So we have talked about unification. And I just want to start talking about herbs before we're going to go